Every fall, thousands of high school seniors stare at their glowing screens, looking for a secret formula to get into an Ivy League school. The search for a competitive edge is relentless. For many, the ultimate lifeline is produced right here. Each year, the independent student newspaper, the Harvard Crimson, releases a curated list, 10 successful Harvard essays. Applicants approach this list with a clear expectation. They believe they are reading the exact, authentic essays that worked for the current incoming freshman class. That expectation gives this publication immense psychological power. It sells a sense of certainty to students navigating an entirely unpredictable process. To see what Harvard is looking for right now, I opened the newly released 2026 edition of these essays. But the data reveals a massive discrepancy. Out of the 10 essays presented as the class of 2026, 9 of them feature timelines and life events that make it impossible for them to be from current applicants. These 9 specific essays actually trace back to a book published in May 2024. At best, they belong to the 2023-2024 cycle. This raises a question about the newspaper's internal process. Why would a prestigious student publication mislabel the dates on nearly an entire cohort of essays? Labeling 90% of the list with the wrong year goes well beyond a simple oversight. It suggests a systemic choice to prioritize a current year label over factual accuracy. Finding the motive requires tracing the pattern back to the previous edition from 2025. These pages aren't actually managed by the newspaper's editorial staff. They fall under the business board and its brand studio, the creative advertising departments. The operation involves taking older editorial content, updating the year on the banner, and using it as a platform to sell sponsored services. The layout is highly specific. A supposedly successful essay appears on the page, and right next to it, the reader sees promotional banners and 5-star reviews for expensive college consulting agencies. This proximity is a calculated choice, encouraging the reader to assume the agency is responsible for the student's success. In reality, the consulting agencies paying for this space have no actual connection to the students who wrote these recycled essays. This makes the publication less of a journalistic resource and more of a profitable sales funnel that leverages applicant anxiety. When a publication focuses on generating clicks for advertisers, the impact on the writing quality itself is visible. Looking at the 2025 edition, only 5 of the 10 essays meet the writing standard usually associated with a Harvard admission. The top half includes standouts like the Lemon Crocs essay, using bright yellow shoes as a natural metaphor for the author's growth and activism. But the bottom half of the list features structural flaws and writing that feels remarkably clunky. The Grandma's Faux Broth essay attempts to link the foundation of a beef broth to the foundation of the American dream. The metaphor is forced and lacks a smooth, natural connection. And then there's the Egg Bagel essay. The narrative logic breaks down when the author uses a senior year experience to explain a spontaneous decision they made 3 years earlier as a freshman. These inconsistencies suggest that these essays were gathered quickly for an advertising campaign, rather than being selected as a genuine cohort of top-tier writing. High school students navigating the application process are in a position of extreme vulnerability. They often look for any signpost in a confusing environment. The danger here is that a historic, prestigious brand is being used to sell misleading consulting services under the guise of an annual tradition. If you are looking at the 2026 edition, you should do so with extreme skepticism. Ignore the dates on the banner and the agency affiliations printed alongside the text. In our next video, we're going to remove the ads entirely and perform a deep dive analysis into the actual writing quality of the 2026 list, because even the most prestigious labels in college admissions require a critical investigative eye.